'cause I got a brand new girl. She blows her money like a whirlwind. I got a brand new girlfriend. She drives a shiny new car. I wear shiny old slacks. She's got the fresh ideas. I spout threadbare, worn out facts. But she's my girlfriend. She's my brand new girl. And I'm sitting on top of the world, 'cause I got a brand new girl. She blows her money like a whirlwind. I got a brand new girlfriend. She say it's not about the money, it's all about my love. The friends say it just looks funny. What's the girl thinking? What's the girl thinking? What's the girl thinking of? But she's my girlfriend. She's my brand new girl. And I'm sitting on top of the world, 'cause I got a brand new girl. She blows her money like a whirlwind. I got a brand new girlfriend. I got a brand new girlfriend. I got a brand new girlfriend. I got a brand new girlfriend.
Alrighty. That's it there. Make sure I've got myself in view. Yeah, I basically am. So this is a very different setup for me. Trying to set myself up to where we can be on the Apple II. You can see we've got Wizardry set up here. Pretty sure my mic levels and everything are good. I got my chat here on the side. We'll see how that goes. And let's get to some Wizardry. So I have not played Wizardry before. But what I do have is the manual. So hopefully that's enough. What are we doing? Proving Gods and Mad Overlord. Yes, they've got a port, not a port. Like there's a series of Wizardry games. Like I did a little bit of spelunking into the current history of Wizardry, and yeah, like there's a whole bunch of Wizardry games that are kind of Japanese exclusive or Japanese developed. That one on the iPhone, if it's the one I'm thinking of, I think that has a little bit of loot box and stuff in it for monetization. There's also been some Japanese developed ones for like PS2, and I've got some of the Game Boy games that were Japanese exclusive. I got the translated ROMs on some carts. Wizardry's gone to a lot of weird places, honestly. Oh, golly. So yeah, but what I'm playing here then is a modern, updated version of the first scenario of Wizardry. There's some balancing changes. I don't know what all the changes are, but I believe there's some encounter balance changes. I don't know if difficulty's been hit. That didn't complete one fight. That That sounds like Wizardry, honestly. That sounds like a lot like Wizardry. I'm expecting something similar to happen here tonight. But there's a GitHub for this. I don't have the link handy. But I'm playing this through, you see it's called Wizardry Replay. And it's kind of a digital collection of, I think it's Wizardry scenarios 1, 2, and 3, and then some of the third-party scenarios that came out. But some of the contributors there also did this 3.1 update, I believe. So I've got it on disk. I'm playing it off of hard drive just because it's easier, like as I was setting up for this. My floppy drive ate through a couple disks, which is cool. So right now I'm attributing that to the age of the disks. But yeah, Teddy, there may be some similarities you see when we start Wizardry 1 compared to the phone version, because at least like I've dabbled a little bit in Wizardry 8, looked at some of the Game Boy ones, and there was, I think it's out for the Switch, but there was a PC version of a Japanese developed Wizardry game that goes a little more anime, and they all kind of maintain that similar start where you roll your party at the training grounds, you pick your class, you pick your stats, and then you go into the maze. So I'm expecting that there's going to be similarities there too. Now, yeah, you can see like this version 3.1, this was done March of last year. So it's, in the timeline, Wizardry is pretty modern. Time-lapse decomposition. Yeah, and I think in Wizardry 1, if you die, you can roll new characters to go into the maze and find the remains of your deceased party members. And I think, yeah, if they die, there's a chance that monsters will loot them. If you abandon the party in the maze, then their equipment won't be stolen by the monsters, but they will age, and you have to still go recover them and pull them back to town. And for those characters that died, depending on a little bit of random chance, and also like the age of the character, and I don't know if it's dictated by how many times they've died before too, they may not be able to be resurrected, and then they'd be permadead. That's some of the stuff I read in here. So start. Cool. This has a little bit of, hey, how you get going, so we're going to look at that a little bit. I have read the instructions once, but it's been a couple weeks. I wanted to do this stream before, but we had technical difficulties. Let's see. This is about booting disks. There's a special utility which you can use for recovering lost characters and stuff. Yeah, it's one thing that we're not going to deal with as much on this as we would have on a disc, but like Wizardry being a game that was expected to be run off of a disc, like it has a few tools and features for copying party members to and from discs, making scenario discs, and it would even mark characters on a disc of whether they're in the maze or not, so that way you can't just start the maze again with the characters you previously rolled in that disc. It's an interesting set of design choices around the constraint of being on a disc, in my opinion, where like you have your instance and copy of the game, like your active D&D session almost on that floppy. And like when you bought Wizardry, I got the box. I'm too lazy to grab the box right now, but like it had the scenario disc, but you were expected to make a copy and then run off the copy and let the master just be like this pristine expression of the maze and the monster layouts and stuff. But since we're running off a hard drive here, we're just gonna do that. Let's see. I know I'm gonna blab a lot before we actually get started because I think the design of Wizardry is interesting. Okay, we need to create some characters. You need to go to training grounds. One of the options, the castle's edge of town. And we're gonna go to the edge of town. I think this is written in Pascal. We'll go to the training ground. Hey, Doc, welcome to the stream. Let me know how levels and everything are. This is my new Apple II setup. I hope it works. Let's see. Right, so right now we're making characters. A character is your alter ego in the world of Wizardry. I don't know. I'll try this and see if it's boring or not. I am going to read some of the manual to you as we go through this, and you'll kind of follow along with me as we start Wizardry. Once you've started the game, you'll be placed at the castle, which we discussed later. However, if this is your first time in the game, you will have to create some characters to play with. To do this, you will need to go to the training grounds, which is kind of where we're at now. One of the options is the castle's edge of town, press E. And then further listed options, there's training grounds, press T. Cool, and now we're there. The training grounds allows you to create a new character and prepare him for use. Before we go into the various options available, it's a good idea to learn exactly what a character is. Neat. Mind you, reminder for those that don't know, this is a game from 1981. There wasn't much precedent for video game RPGs, so there's going to be some explanation for concepts you might take for granted today. A character is your alter ego in the world of Wizardry. Like anyone, he has skills, abilities, and possessions. You control him by telling the computer what you want him or her to do. All the parameters and information about your character are kept on the scenario disk until you wish to use him. And after you finish a game, it is returned and updated. Thus, you can continue to play with him over many sessions, and the more you play, the more capabilities he gets, and the more challenging and interesting the game becomes. Neat. Character class is defined. There are 6 basic characteristics a character has. These are strength, which affects combat ability. IQ and piety determines the ability to cast mage and priest spells. Vitality, which modifies the amount of damage that can be sustained before death. Agility, which determines the order in which attack occurs. So that's, I guess, like your attack speed. And luck, which helps in many mysterious ways. Neat. Based on the above 6 characteristics, your character may become one of 8 classes. These classes are defined below. Each class has certain minimum scores which qualify a character for that class. Each class also has many abilities, advantages, and disadvantages. When you are first starting out, you will probably only be able to qualify for one of the first 4 classes. Later, as you become more powerful, you may qualify for entry into a better class. Yes, so that's also something that I remember seeing in some of the Japanese-developed Wizardry games, which I kind of use as my metric for modern Wizardry. Since they were making Wizardry games into the 2000s, where Surtech had gone under, I think, in the late 90s. But yeah, generally, you'll have a set of like the manual said, you'll have a set of classes available to you, but some of them are kind of prestige classes. Your starting stats won't ever give you enough to actually attain them. So what you end up needing to do is play the game for a while, decide to go into that class. And I'll read through what they are real quick, but you'll notice that the more expensive classes, they tend to be a bit more specialized. Like, they'll have a lot of the same carryover abilities from a similar class that's a lower set of stat minimums to get into, but they'll have further restrictions for like what alignment you can be, or I think that's the biggest thing they use is alignment. So you'll find that like you gotta make some hard choices about what you want your character to be when you start going into prestige classes. So, speaking of that question, you have a fighter who's a basic man-at-arms. Fighters need a minimum strength of 11. Fighters have high hit points. They may use any armor and weapons and are very good for combat. They may be any alignment. Mage, the sorcerers. Mages need a minimum intelligence of 11. Mages have poor hit points. They can only use a dagger or staff as a weapon and cannot use any armor except for robes. However, they may use magical spells and may be of any alignment. Neat. Priests, the holy men. Priests need a minimum of piety of 11. Priests have hit points almost as good as fighters, and may use any armor or shield. Priests may not wear helmets and must use specifically consecrated weapons such as staves or cludges. Priests do not fight as well as fighters, but they can throw priestly spells. Additionally, priests have the ability to dispel. Some monsters in the maze, collectively termed undead, are animate only through the power of great evil. These monsters can sometimes be forced from the normal planes of existence and back to the abyss where they were summoned from. Priests may not be of neutral alignment. Thieves requires an agility of 11. Thieves get better hit points than mages, can use daggers or short swords as weapons, can wear leather armor, and use a shield. Thieves are very good at circumventing the noxious traps that may be between a party of players and some loot. Thieves may not be of good alignment. So those 4 are like the 4 base classes. So I guess the Necromancer Battle Mage, the Priest kind of sits there because they kind of remind me of what a Cleric would be if you were playing like a D&D like. Right, where they got a little bit of holy and a little bit of combat. So then for the prestige classes, you'll notice that there's higher restrictions using them. You got the bishops, which are a combination of priest and mage. They have advantages and disadvantages of both. Bishops have hit points intermediate to both. They can wear leather armor and use priest weapons. They are both magical, or they use both magical and priestly spells, although they do not learn them as fast as other classes. And while they start learning mage spells immediately, they must reach the 4th level of ability before priest spells and the ability to dispel become theirs. Bishops also have the ability to identify the nature of magical items, thus not requiring them to pay a hefty charge levied at the services of the castle. However, there are some disadvantages to having bishop inspect an item. If a bishop is not very careful, he may touch the item by accident. This will cause an equip to be done, and then if the item is cursed, the bishop will be forced to use it. Priests, bishops may not be neutral. Interesting, I just noticed, like, it didn't tell me what the stat minimums were. But I'm pretty sure the stat minimums are higher. Oh, okay, sorry, I'm, like, glancing through these other ones. Yes. I remember reading, it might be in this manual even, that you're meant to kind of discover when you're able to use these other classes. Like, we could go and look on a wiki and see what it takes, but the manual's not going to spell it out for us. So you can see then that the bishop is like kind of the supercaster. Samurai are fantastic fighters and can use all fighter weapons and armor. Their hit points start out better than a fighter, but in the long run, a fighter has better hit points. At the 4th level of ability, they slowly begin to acquire magical spells. Samurai cannot be of evil alignment. So Samurai are like another caster warrior type, but more in the warrior than the priest. Lords are a combination of fighter and priest. They have hit points and abilities of fighters, but at 4th level, the ability they gain priestly spells and ability to dispel. Lords must be of good alignment. Okay, so kind of fighter mage combination. There's a bunch of classes for that. Boy, you happen to ask that, Doc. Ninja are inhuman fighting machines. They can use any weapons or armor, but work best without any. When fighting without protection with their bare hands, they can cause havoc and destruction and may even kill the strongest opponents in a single blow. Their great training gives them a lower and lower AC as they armor class as they reach higher and higher levels of ability. However, they get hit points, as does Thief, and gain no spells. Finally, they must be evil. So there you go. To be a ninja, you must be evil. And if I remember correctly, your party cannot have both good and evil characters. So you have to kind of sway towards good and neutral characters or evil and neutral characters. Which then means you can't have a lord and a ninja in the same party. So let's go ahead and name a character. Yes. You are correct. We will name this first person. What would be a good source for names? Reggie. His name is only Reggie. I do want to create Reggie. Choose a race. All right. Okay. I'm looking to see if this has any discussion of the races. Let's do that. Not really. Okay. So what the manual says here is race. You will have one of 5: a human, elf, dwarf, gnome, and hobbit. Race affects initial statistics and resistances to various forms of magical attack. Thank you. We could probably do some guessing based on our previous knowledge of D&D, I suppose. Troubleshooting. I'm kind of flipping through the back of the manual, which lists all the spells. And I'm seeing if... Okay, so those are some tips for beginners that we will do. Balance your party. When first starting out, have a party of 2 fighters, a priest, a thief, and 2 mages. This is the strongest party you can make out of level 1 to 3 characters. I will do that. I don't think I'm going to find any discussion about character races. No. Okay, so we'll make this dude a warrior. Let's do a dwarf. Reggie the dwarf. Alignment. I want Reggie to be neutral. Cool. All right. So, what we do now, in the rows marked strength, etc., a series of numbers will appear. Each row corresponds to one of your basic statistics, strength, and so on. These numbers are the base numbers for your race in each of the statistics. So we can see that I got a little more strength, piety, and vitality. So that kind of leans me more towards, I think it would be... a priest, right? Because priests are piety. Yeah. So that leads me to... So dwarves can be probably either priests or fighters. And if I go back to our tips for beginners, we need a priest. So let's make this dude our priest. So these are our base numbers. You'll also see that you have some bonus points. Yes, I think that's the points that say 8 right up there. Cool. You can use these in every characteristics to raise them. Generally, you will want to add 1 to your strength, IQ, piety, etc., or agility to allow you to qualify for one of the 4 character classes, and use the rest in vitality. Interesting. Okay. You'll note that the arrow is pointing to the strength number. At this point, you can hit enter to move the arrow down. If you go off the bottom, then it'll move back up to the strength. Plus to add to the number, minus to subtract. So let's keep that. Plus. I think I have my number pad in here. There it is. Okay, haha, a use for this. So, I'll show you this real quick. I had at some point gotten myself, in view, there it is, a numpad for the Apple II. And it comes in handy because it actually has a dedicated plus button, or plus key. So finally, validated. So, vitality, we will... Oh, I'm hitting divide, my bad. Plus. So let's skip to go on. I don't understand. Do I need other stuff? Oh, I bet. Do I have to be good? Did I mess this up already? Priest may not be neutral. Okay, so that's what I messed up. All right, so this dude's not going to be our priest anymore because I messed up. All right. Hey, there we go. Be a fighter. Yes. So you have Reggie. Daryl. I want to create Daryl. Daryl will be a human. Let us pick a good human, because he is going to be our priest. Daryl is going to make a poor priest because his piety's so low. Cool. All right. So Daryl, let's see. Who should our next character name be? Brittany. Create Brittany. Brittany will be a dwarf. Brittany will be a good dwarf. And we'll get that piety to 11. Be a priest. And dump the rest into vitality. All right. So we've got 2 warriors and a priest. I think we want 2 mages and a thief, I think is what it said. Yes, a thief and 2 mages. Let's make our thief. Our thief's name. Nox. I'm just looking at stuff on my shelf. We will create Nox. Nox will be a hobbit. Nox will be a neutral hobbit. So we've got some good characters, so we're going to do it that way. Thief needs 11 agility. So good vitality. All right, so we got Nox. So now we need 2 or not 2 priests, or 2 mages. So let's make Mobius. Mobius will be a bigger mage, can be any alignment, so it'll be neutral. And IQ needs to be 11. So Mobius and 1 more. Oh, what would be a good one? Oopsie. Nigel. I want to create a Nigel. I don't think I've made a gnome yet. Well, we're going to do this. We've already decided. Okay. All right, so we have our characters. Hooray. Okay, so we've made our characters. So we type roster. Those are our folks. A mage, a thief, priest, fighters. Reggie and Daryl are going to keep us safe. It's interesting that you can set a password on characters. I guess that's if you're sharing a disk with someone else, you're like, you cannot use my characters, those are mine. Let's see. I don't need to inspect anybody right now. All right, so now we can go to Gilgamesh's Tavern. The first stop at the beginning of the session is always Gilgamesh's Tavern, where you can assemble a party. You cannot proceed in the game until your party is assembled. At the top of the screen, there is a display of the current party. Then there's it in there. With space for 6 players. Displayed are the current position, number, etc., hit points, and stats of each character. Alignment and class are displayed in the form of A, C, 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 where A is the first letter of character alignment, good, neutral, evil, and C, C, C are the first 3 letters of the character class. In the tavern, let's go ahead and add a member to the party. Who will join? Oh, boy, I wish I... Reggie. Cool. Daryl is one of them. It's our fighter. Let's see. Who has the next? I wish they don't let you list the characters from the screen, which is a thing. So mages have poor hit points. Thieves have better hit points than mages. So I probably want to put our priest, then our thief, then our mages. And I need to remember the names of everybody. Let's go to the edge of town. Let's go to the training grounds. I'm gonna cheat. And I'm gonna take a picture. we'll leave. Turn to the castle. Gilgamesh's. Need to add all over again. So do Reggie. If I remember correctly, the order matters for how much damage you can do and how much damage you take. We'll add Daryl. So put the fighters up. Then I want my priest, Brittany. Then my thief, Knox. Then Mobius. And Nigel. Great. We now have our party. And if I remember, Daryl is the human, and that's why their hit points are far less. So fun. Go back to my chat view here so I can see what the heck's going on. AI, oh boy, wouldn't that be something? Yep. We could try to do portraits if these characters survive. I don't know how I'd want to do it yet. I'm not terribly enamored with AI. Okay. Also, hopefully my chats are... I'm seeing the chats okay. I'm using my phone for it, which makes things more complicated. All right. So, the Adventurer's Inn is a place where any weary travelers can get rest and recover their excursions. Okay. So, yeah, they allow you to heal, and I believe it also allows you to level. Great. If these folks survive, we can have Kirk draw all the portraits. I'm game for that. We can like edit the UI for the stream to have like the different character portraits sitting somewhere. But also as a trade-off, when you go to the end, your characters also age, and if they get too old, then they don't be good characters anymore. So we don't need to go to the inn right now. Excuse me. The Temple of Kant. That's used for rezzing people or unpoisoning people, so we're not going to worry about that. Boltak's Trading Post. The commercial center for the castle is owned by a friendly dwarf named Boltak. However, like all dwarves, Boltak likes gold and will sell you your own armor if he can. Also, since he has a monopoly, he tends to do pretty well. Cool. So let's go into Boltak's Trading Post. Let's have Reggie enter. Reggie has 187 gold. Let's see. Let's go ahead and purchase a longsword. Just what you needed. Cool. Let's purchase a large shield. Let's purchase some. Let's go forward real quick and see what's forward. guess we'll do some chainmail for 90. Okay. I have 32 gold left, so I have Daryl enter. Daryl has 95 gold. That's kind of cool with the Gladiator Dungeon Delve game. I don't remember the Gladiator Dungeon Delve game. Was that? Yeah, I do not have a frame of reference. Is that a game you played? Bye. Oh, sword. I needed. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I wanted to look at that more closely because it looked like a very good or very adequate PC Wizardry like. I'm a little bit afraid to modify my Vista install for 7 compatibility, that it might break it. So I don't know, maybe I should back up the hard drive and then try it. Let's do Lark Shield for 3. Purchase. I only have 30 gold left. I'm not going to afford anything else. Brittany will enter. Brittany has 130 gold. I wish I had a Linux that I could trust to run well on that netbook. All right, so Brittany is a priest. And actually, you're going to have to give me a moment. I'm going to have to go to the potty. BRB.
I got a hand-me-down dog. I keep a second-hand cat. We all live together in a one-room run-down flat. I drive a Nash Rambler car. It never goes very far. I drink my pint of old granddad from an old green mason jar. But I got a brand new girlfriend. She's my brand new girl. And I'm sitting on top of the world, 'cause I got a brand new girl. She blows her money like a whirlwind. I got a brand new girlfriend. She drives a shiny new car. I I wear shiny old slacks. She's got the fresh ideas. I spout threadbare, worn out facts. But she's my girlfriend. She's my brand new girl. And I'm sitting on top of the world, 'cause I got a brand new girl. She blows her money like a whirlwind. I got a brand new girlfriend. She say it's not about the money, it's all about my love. The friends say it just looks funny. What's the girl thinking? What's the girl thinking? What's the girl thinking of? But she's my girlfriend. She's my brand new girl. And I'm sitting on top of the world, 'cause I got a brand new girl. She blows her money like a whirlwind. I got a brand new girlfriend. 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 I got a brand new girl. Brand new girlfriend. Got a brand new girl. I got a brand new girl. I got a brand new girlfriend. Got a brand spanking new girlfriend. Brand new girlfriend.
Alrighty, I'm back. Still in frame. I am. Excellent. All right. So we are in here as Brittany. And I'm trying to remember what priests use. Also, if you've never seen the Wizardry manual, there's a lot of cute illustrations in here. Like, it doesn't take itself super seriously. And that's kind of nice. Priests. Yeah. They may use any armor or shield. They may not wear helmets and must use specifically consecrated weapons such as staves or cludges. So an anointed mace it is. Oh, label's unusable and they're ready for me. That's nice. And I'm going to get the large shield. That's 60. Might go with the leather armor, just so I have some armor. Alright, It's weird, like, I mean, I guess it makes sense from an interface standpoint, but like having every person individually go into the shop. Nox is 168 gold. Neat. I still have to figure out how to give Nox, or not just Nox, like, equip people with their gear I'm buying them. Let's see. I guess we're gonna give a short sword for our friend here. Purchase a 2. Okay, Nox, what do you want? I don't like this plan. I want to do something else. Cool, man. I'll use small shield. That's good. Let's go leather armor. Short sword +1. Leather +1. What are these +1s? That's very D&D because +1 usually means that it's a magical whatever. Copper gloves. So I'm just gonna scroll it over and over again. Okay. Mobius. 181. Golly. Let's go buy some stuff. Staff. Having the cursor move across the screen as it refreshes the page is very 80s computer hacker movie. Throw some robes on you. Staff of Maugrief. If only. Can't afford any scrolls, it looks like. Okay. Just what I needed. All right, I'm gonna figure out how we can equip this stuff, because that would be handy. Do I need to go to the trading grounds in order to inspect my characters? Maybe. Let's go to Reggie. Aha, we can equip. And our AC went from 10 to 4. Great. So, if I remember correctly, the way Wizardry happens to work, if I go back to the training grounds, then my party is just implicitly broken, and then I have to like re-add all the characters to the party. So being able to go to the tavern to do equipment, thank God. So it's like, I'm not going to go to training grounds, am I? 19 years old. Let's go Super E. I can imagine very easily just being like, oh, I've made my characters, time to go into the maze. And then you have nothing. Let's equip staff, some robes. Reading a spell book. Okay, I have Halato and Katano. Let's see what those are. Of course, we have BS spell names. Alright, so those are priestly spells, mage spells. Halato is Little Fire. Causes a little flame ball the size of a baseball to hit a monster, doing 1 to 8 hit points. And then Katano, Bad Air. Katano causes most of the monsters in the group to fall asleep. Katano only affects normal animal or humanoid monsters. Chances of a spell affecting an individual monster and the duration of the effect is inversely proportional to the power of the monster. While asleep, monsters are easier to hit and successful strikes do double damage. That's neat. It's Mobius. Let's go to Nigel. AC of 9. That is why those dudes are in the back. Leave. Okay. So, cool. We don't need to go to the inn. We went to Baltac's trading post. We don't need to go to the Temple Cont. Edge of town. Actually, wait. I don't know if I need to do anything to write to disk. Yeah, maybe it just always writes to disk. All right. right. Oh yeah, I should get some paper to track maps, because that's actually gonna be a really big part of this game. Is maps. I have a notebook for that. All right. We will see how this goes. Adventuring. Into town, training grounds, at the castle, maze, or leave. The most important part of the game of Wizardry is adventuring. After you've gathered together a party, purchased or traded the best equipment you can afford, and restore hit points and spells, it is time to leave the safe but expensive confines of the castle and enter the unsafe but possibly lucrative corridors of the maze. One thing I should do is I should read quickly the scenario brief, so that we know why we're doing this. Proving Grounds of the Mad Overlord is the first Wizardry scenario and is designed to introduce you to Wizardry, give you practice playing, and allow you to build characters up to 13th level or so. The evil wizard Wardna has stolen a valuable item from the treasure rooms of the Mad Overlord Trevor. He has placed it somewhere deep in the dungeons of Trevor's castle and left fearsome monsters there to guard it. Your mission is to develop characters powerful enough to explore the deeper levels of the dungeon to recover the item. It is rumored that a control center exists somewhere in the dungeon, and that this control center allows explorers easy access to deeper levels of the dungeon where the item may be found. Thus, a logical first step would be to find this facility. Good luck, and may the gods be with you. So there. Now you know everything you need to know. Let's go to the maze. Oh, snap! Okay. As soon as you enter the maze from the castle, you'll be placed in the camp. Being in camp means that you have stopped somewhere and set up a strong guard against monsters. So members of the party can trade, equip new items, reorder, and so on. You'll see a display of the characters in the party, much like seen in the castle, and a list of options pictured below. Dear God, don't you dare. We can inspect and use items. You can cast spells. I'm not going to worry about that right now because we don't have any spells worth casting. Reorder lets you select the order in which players will march through the maze. When fighting monsters, only the first 3 characters can attack with weapons, and in turn be physically attacked by monsters. Thus, it is a good idea to have the weaker and less armored characters in the rear. You will be asked for the number of characters who will go into the number of characters in first position if you reorder, and then second, and so on. So that's why I arranged this the way I did. What is displayed? Leave the camp. Once in Maze, a high-resolution graphic display is used. The information about your characters is at the bottom of the screen, and in the top left corner is a 3D hidden surface display from which you are in the maze. To the right is information about which spells are active at the time, such as Protective or Light. Above that is a short list of your option keys. Between the maze display and the status information is a blank area where messages may appear. Some locations. You will find special objects such as messages, pits, stairs, and so on. When you move on to one of those squares, a message to that effect will appear. When you enter the maze from the city, you're at the bottom of a set of stairs. Wizardry uses 3D perspective plot maze, as you'd see it if you were actually there. You see walls in the maze extending to the distance. By using a spell such as Milwa, you can light up the maze so that you can see farther, and also see secret doors. On the following page, so this is diagrams of stuff. So I don't want to take the stairs. Oh yeah. So mind you, I'm playing on a monochrome monitor, so I just see green phosphor. But yeah, I see you're getting the full Apple II experience. So that goes back to the castle. Hit R to turn right. Back to move forward. Forward. This. It's gonna move for a while. Oh, there's a door. So, and then we can hit K to kick through the door. I think we have see what there is to see there. So we'll make our way back. Game. We just looked into our first room in Wizardry. Isn't that something? Wizardry is a game that intimidated me quite a bit. So it feels kind of good to be like, yeah, I will go and play a Wizardry. And Shining into Darkness makes so much more sense as we start to look at Wizardry. Oh boy, Mimics, I'm so happy. So one thing that we don't get because we're playing on a hard drive is I can't do any shenanigans to like back up my character party. So if they die, then they die. Let's see, so that will then Something I do wonder is if, like, for finding hidden doors, if after a while, like, I look at this map and I'm like, there should be something there. There's a door. An encounter! Great. All right. So Reggie's gonna fight. Small humanoids. Daryl's gonna fight. Brittany, we're gonna use a spell. I was surprised. Catino. Oh, priest. Shoot, I didn't check what priest spells I got. Forgot that's my other folks. What are my priest spells? I forgot to look at what Brittany's spells would be as a priest. Well, we'll have to figure that out. Brittany's gonna fight. Nox is gonna use the spell Catino. Nox is a thief. Sorry. Mobius spell. Nigel is going to use Alto. All right, just gonna fight. 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 Harry. Spell. We're gonna use Alto. Nice. Nice. Inspect. Who will inspect? Nox will inspect. Trapless chest. Beautiful. Open. Who will open? Nox will open it. Shield! Woohoo! Each share is worth 10 gold. Nice. I think so. I'm going to finish mapping this little room first. We made it out without dying. That's pretty neat. Golly. All right. I guess we'll go bolt axe. Ox will enter. Sell. I thought we found a shield. Because Nox opened the chest, right? That's a fine question. I don't know where that item goes. Let's go to the tavern. And let's see each of our members. I assume hits is their number of hit points, which means Reggie is close to death. But we'll inspect each of these folks and see where they're at anyway. Oh, Daryl, you made it. And you notice I was not shy about using my spells. I'm like, I'm gonna use these spells right now. Let's see. Yeah, it hits his hit points. So yeah, Reggie has 3. Okay, it says it right there. Yeah, people are pretty beat up. Enter in. What does it say about staying on the table? Overnight resting allows a character to regain his spells, but does nothing to restore hit points. The other rooms let you regain hit points at a certain rate per week. I don't have 50 gold. Ugh. Cots are 10 a week. I guess. I wonder if it's better to camp. Stables, you don't get hit points back, you just get spells. Brittany can't even afford to stay. Priest knows Dios and Badios. Dios is heal. And then Badios is a harm spell. Brittany has 6 points. What's Daryl got? Daryl's got half their points. Brady's got half their points. So, okay. I'm gonna need Brittany to cast a spell. Dios. Okay. Great. Being surprised probably wasn't a good help. I surprised the monsters. Goddamn right I did. I probably should have rested my spellcasters to get their spells back. Well, we're gonna do our best. It sure would. I think I had both my casters cast both their spell slots. Both my mages, rather. So. Brittany is slain. That's no good. We survived. Who am I helping? Okay, let's go to the tavern. Yeah, we got Rad's Brittany. CRG. Pool gold. Yeah, 428 gold. Okay. Go to cons. Brittany's back. All right. We spent a bunch of money, but we did it. So, yay. Let's go to the inn. Let's have Mobius stay in the cot. Or, I'm sorry, let's have Mobius stay in the stable. Let's have Nigel stay in the stable. Let's go back to the tavern. Let's see. Yes, we have our spells back. It should be that we go to the edge of town, go to the training grounds. Do the roster. Yeah, Brittany's right there. Cool. I think this was a neat first dip into Wizardry. I'm going to take my success here. And we will play a bit more probably tomorrow. So thanks for hanging while we kind of worked through getting our first party together. And we went through 2 encounters and looked at a little bit of the map and survived. And maybe next session we'll even gain some levels. But as you say, Wizardry is not messing around. So, thanks, Doc. Maybe we'll see games for you soon. Who knows? Until then, cheers.
I gotta